Thank you very much for staying with us here on The Full View. Now, today was the last day for political parties contesting the May election to submit their candidate list to the IEC. Now, the process is necessary as it deems a party eligible to contest. At least 34 political parties have indicated their intention to contest this year's elections, while 22 of those parties have paid the prescribed monetary deposits to allow for participation. Now, joining us on the line is SABC senior political reporter Mzwandile Mbeje. Mzwai, thank you very much for your time this evening. Of course, some of the names that have made it on to the ANC list have raised the ire of many names of individuals who've had run-ins with the courts, the public protector, and some of their names have come up at the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture.
Well, absolutely, Criselda, and we spoke to the Secretary General, Ace Makashule, basically to put some of those questions to say there are individuals whose names are actually very high up on the list, and then there are all these allegations against them. So what do they do as the party in order to restore the confidence of the society in the ruling party? I mean, basically his answer, Criselda, was that as long as those allegations of wrongdoing are not tested in a proper court of law, so they can't really then not afford them the opportunity. So I think that was the attitude that the ANC is basically taking. I mean, we can mention the name of someone like Minister Mzwandile Mbeje. Remember, she was fingered by Agritzi at through the Bosasa connection at the state capture. I mean, we know the issues relating to Mamba Tabilizamini, and of course, Malusi Gigaba having to resign in cabinet, and of course, as a member of parliament. So all those people, Criselda, are part of the list, and the ANC is saying, so unless there's anything else that proves them that they did something wrong, so they'll stay there.
Yeah. So the ANC has basically resolved that only those of its members who've been found guilty by a court of law will be removed from the candidate list. But allegations like these, and why some of these individuals face surely, I mean, they've not been found guilty in a court of law, but surely some of these allegations won't be forgotten by the voter as we head to this May election. Could this be problematic for the ANC?
Well, it doesn't do any good to the name of the ANC, Criselda. I mean, remember, as soon as the Secretary General confirmed that the names of those that people have been speaking about, that they will be part of their list. I mean, you could see even in the social media, and some people expressing their disappointment. So whether this will then translate into the electoral performance of the ANC is another question. But definitely there are sections of the society which are absolutely not happy with this. But of course the ANC is sticking by its people, saying as long as the courts have not found them guilty, so it means they will then be targeting anyone who's accused of wrongdoing, even some of the allegations are wrong. So I think that's the attitude they are taking. But of course, the public may have a different view. Well, the 8th of May, Criselda, is around the corner, so all those questions will be answered.
Sure, but even if they have not been found guilty, as the ANC Secretary General has alluded to, of course, in a court of law, these allegations have done some significant damage to the reputation of the ANC. That's something that you've already touched on, Mzwai. But is it too early to say if at all this could have some kind of impact? I know that you've said perhaps we'll need to wait and see once this election goes ahead how the electorate would respond to the names on the list that the ANC has put forward. But in terms of the reputational damage that the ANC has suffered thus far, what impact would you say this would have, bringing these names now forward?
Well, Criselda, I mean, as we were speaking earlier, and the issue really here will be that there will be those sections of society who will express their displeasure at some of the names that they are seeing. But it's not clear at this stage if perhaps that displeasure will translate into electoral performance of the ANC. I mean, remember, this is a party which is broadly supported, but there are those who perhaps would categorize as middle class, who would be very well aware of these issues. Because the other question question we posed to the Secretary General was to say, are they not worried about what people are saying about these individuals? Mr. Magashule was very forthright to say they've interacted with ordinary people, and ordinary people are really worried about jobs, are really worried about economy, are really worried about making sure that their lives are improved. So some of the issues perhaps that you and I are worried about may not necessarily be what the general populace is worried about. So except for those who you would call privileged members of our society.
Mzwandile Mbeje, our senior political reporter, talking to us, of course, about that ANC list. Many saying that some of the names on that list that have been put forward for Parliament, that have been submitted to the IEC, really do raise the ire of many. Just some breaking news now on the Full View. In news